Let faith arise. So when you hear this, especially in the song, open up your hands. Now close your hands. If you're like this, are you going to receive any good energy? No. Open your hands. Let faith arise. We'll open up ourselves. I lift my hands to begin again. I am faithful, God, forever. Open our eyes. Open our eyes. We are faithful, God, forever. Words for a song that we're all going to hear in just a bit, representing the kavanah, or the intention that we all should have as we go forward throughout this evening, throughout our holiest of days tomorrow, Yom Kippur, our ultimate day of atonement. On this, our Kol Nidre night, let us bring together what we have explored and talked about to this point in our Yamim Noraim, our true Rosh Hashanah services, our days of awe, and truly become awe-inspired. Where do we go to find God when feeling most hopeless, broken, or low? And even if we don't believe in God, where do we go inside ourselves to rebuild ourselves, rekindle that light? How do we let faith arise? How do we keep our faith when things seem most dark and we feel victimized, we feel betrayed, or maybe we even feel scared? How do we believe in a higher power orchestrating our lives when we are scared that our entire world is coming apart at the seams, and that apocalyptic visions and prophecies in literature and film and TV, even the news, seem to be an ever-approaching reality? Our trepidation, our impending fear of what could happen boggles the mind. It upsets us, it confuses us, when fiction may one day become fact. How can we believe that there is something out there truly watching over us, guiding us, when our world is in such a disarray? This is the number one thing I'm asked all the time, next to how do I pray? How can we believe? How can we have faith? How can we open our eyes and let faith arise? How can we open up and lift up our hands to begin and to believe again? In Kabbalah, there is the practice of restriction, our mystical side of Judaism. It's odd to think that pulling back would actually be the process that actually lets the light in. Let the light in. As we discussed on Rosh Hashanah, God pulled back and contracted so that the universe, us and everything in it, could actually be created. God made room for us to come into being. We now need to do the same. Our world is a convoluted, polluted mess. Do you not think so? Humanity is out of control, like rabid dogs. How do we find a cure? How do we lift up our hands to believe again and let faith arise? Faith is the tide we can ride upon throughout distant shores to find our way home to the harmony, home to the peace, and home to the unity that was divined for us. By restricting our base tendencies, practicing self-control, and not surrendering to impulsivity, anybody do that? Not surrendering to ego, we can rid ourselves of the darkness that threatens to consume not only us, but our entire world. I was speaking with some good friends about taking those little flip tops off the cans that we've been gathering to take to the Elks Lodge, in addition to the ones that we have collected here at the temple and in our homes and things like. I'm kind of proud of the little stack that I'm getting. But one of our congregants gave me 2 huge bags. I don't know. Lynn, is it 2 pounds, 3 pounds? How many tops are in there? I don't even know. There's 2 huge bags. So we were going to the Elks Lodge, and I was like, oh, maybe we should take them in, take a little picture with our sponsors and our little group. And a very wise fellow mermaid said to me, isn't anonymous giving supposed to be one of the highest forms of giving? Are we not supposed to get like kudos and like publicity for what we're doing? I was very proud of her for saying that. I'm like, shame on the rabbi. And these are the little tiny moments when you can say to yourself, Was I thinking of the group? Was I thinking of the newsletter that maybe goes out? Sometimes we are an example by the things that we do and show others, but other times maybe there's a little bit of tiny little ego or something in there. But thank you to Lynn for all those tops, and we will take them to the Elvis Club. Maybe we'll just go on Taco Tuesday and have what a fun happy hour we do and give them their tops. But anyway, that helps the Ronald McDonald House create space for the families to stay. So once again, your little flip tops, please save them and bring them to Temple and give them to me, along with the other things that you donate for food and clothing and things that we do to help our world. So we need to restrict our base tendencies so we can rid ourselves of this darkness. Now, it seems like a very small thing, but this was an example of how a passing random moment in time can be fed by ego or light, even unintentionally, and how always being mindful and vigilant can make all the difference in the energy that we manifest to uplift ourselves and humanity and our world. When we root out negativity, exorcising the demons that can even inadvertently plague us, we then create the space for the light to come in and to dwell within our vessel. We clear our individual and collective vessels to make the space for God or the divine spirit to once again dwell, and then let faith arise. And this is something that we have to do and be mindful of all the time, because there's many moments we're going to miss it. We must allow the divine source or higher power contained within us to shine through and illumine all of our lives. Now, many of you are familiar with the Hamsa. Are you familiar with this? Some of you might wear it as jewelry. Some of you might have it in your house. This has a little bit of Jerusalem in it. And I believe one year the sisterhood gave this to me. Thank you. See, I keep these things. And I bring them out for a sermon. Okay, so that hangs in my house. The Hamsa symbolizes protection, and it keeps evil away. So put your hands up. So you think you put your hands up, and then if you look at it, it has the thumbs are exactly the same size, left and right equal, okay? So it's open-handed, okay? So the idea of this is generosity of spirit. It literally means fivefold. The number 5 in Hebrew is chamesh. And the number that we create with the 5 books of Moses, this is that which we are meant to use as our guidebook for living a good life. When we are open-handed, extending our hands in peace and in love and in generosity and blessing, we are living in the light of Torah. We are keeping the commandments and acknowledging, as it is written, that all its ways are pleasantness and all of its paths are, in fact, peace. Ultimately, that is all we need. It's quite simple, and yet it's very difficult to attain when chaos rules the day. It's a symbolism that we can carry with us that represents the way forward. How do we go forward? Open-hearted, open-handed, opening ourselves to the light. This is what the world needs now more than ever. We all share this need to let faith arise, to get out of our way, to let go, let God. The Hamsa, this open hand with its equal-sized thumbs, so that neither left or right, but rather a central column, which is a Kabbalistic thing, is opening itself toward the light. It can ward off evil. Everyone put your hands out. It can ward off evil, literally stopping it in its tracks. And it can attract and receive blessing available when we are open-handed rather than closed-fisted. These are all things that we need to be mindful of. So on this night, we give homage to all, as we've done with the kindling of the light, who have lost their lives throughout the centuries, not only now in our time of war throughout our world, but centuries, thousands of years, when many, many people who were trying to keep the faith had to hide, and yet they refused to bow to terror. Think of the Holocaust. It is said that they chanted Ani Ma'amim as they walked into the gas chambers. I believe with perfect faith that the Messiah will come. We are still waiting. We are all humanity waiting. Some are waiting for the second coming, some are still waiting for the first coming, but we are all waiting. So how could these people keep their faith in the midst of such abhorrent circumstances? And we who, despite it all, are really quite comfortable. We're struggling, we're grappling for truth and for reasons. Uncertainty and desire fills us, and we want to know why. Why must there still be war? Why does one person turn against the other with vitriol, with bitterness, and with hate? Why can't there be resolution and peace between countries, between people, in families, even in political parties of which we do not speak politics here? Why can we not all get along? Why can't we get along? Rather than being our own undoing year after year, decade after decade, throughout the centuries. When will we ever learn? We all bleed red. These sermons have explored our relationship to God and the divine within, and they will continue to do so tonight and then tomorrow. When contemplating what in the world I was going to write, because our world is dancing toward disaster faster than I could go, I mentioned on Rosh Hashanah, I wrote 3 different Rosh Hashanah sermons, because everything is just chaos. And then I realized God is the common denominator. God is our only hope. So all the sermons are about God. And once again, even connecting to the divinity within your own self, because once again, we are all pure. We just have to make good choices. God is our only way out of this mess, and the only way out is to go in, all in. Go in deep, go in unabashedly, go in with a full heart and soul. You can see me up here. Do you not see me going in all deep for us all? On Erev Rosh Hashanah, we began this 4-part journey. We searched for God, and then on Rosh Hashanah day, we found God in our prayers and our music. And tonight, we are reaching toward that God, lifting up our hands to believe again, to open our eyes and let faith arise. To fill our hearts and our souls and our minds with something greater that can fill us up in ways that only belief in a higher power can do. And tomorrow, on Yom Kippur, our holiest of all days, we will activate God. God is always there. It is our job to make the connection, to search, to find, to reach for, and then to activate. Tonight, we open up our eyes and we lift up our hands to grasp and hold tight to the divine that has been walking beside us all along, guiding us as a good parent does, with love, light, and the inherent hope of possibility. We have been subject as a people to so much tragedy, so much persecution and betrayal. We have been taunted, tortured, and used as a human sacrifice for another's quest for power and control. Unchecked power is a recipe for disaster, chaos, and ruin. The ultimate scorekeeper is God. Make no mistake. Our actions have been reviewed this past week, and they are still under scrutiny. No matter how much we do, no matter how much we cleanse, we still come in and there's still negativity and more things to learn and to do and to say, okay, I won't do that next time. I'll let the volunteers handle all this. I'll look the other way because you know what? They got this. So we all just have to keep moving forward. And we all have to know that through sundown tomorrow, and maybe even through Simchat Torah, Sukkot, Simchat Torah, when we roll the Torah all the way back to the beginning, which for us, because we do it differently, will be next Friday on Shabbat. The men's club will be doing a barbecue, and we'll make little decorations and hang them on our sukkah, and then we'll have our service. If you would all please pledge to be here, we can then take one of the scrolls and unroll it around the sanctuary so that everybody can see it. And we dance with it, we roll it back up, and then we eat pies and ice cream for the holiday. We'll probably have some libations. But that's when we bring all of this to a conclusion. But some think that to-do list of I need to do this, this, and this, and this isn't necessarily going to be done by the time sundown comes tomorrow and the gates close. and we're having our Italian food or whatever we're doing to break the fast if we're fasted, or to add to our food that we may have eaten because we had to take medicine that day. But the reality is that we still have time to do what needs to be done. So as we move forward, let us reach to manifest something our ancestors and God could be proud of. Our ultimate parent, something that as we go forward, we can be proud of. Let us start small, but let us end big. Let us not be filled with fear, and let us not let negativity take hold. And let me tell you, there are so many people that say, I'm a good person. I don't understand. Why is this happening to me? The better you are, the more light, the greater the attack. Because what's the negativity going to try to do? Like a moth to a flame, it's going to try to undo and suck out your light and turn you to the dark side. So let us believe with perfect faith that the Messiah and redemption will come for us and for our children and their children and those more to come. Let us open up our eyes. Let us lift up our hands to believe again, to believe in ourselves, to believe in God, to believe in the promise, and to reach for the blessing. Pen Yihiratzon, may it be God's will. If you're fasting, may you have an easy fast. Gemar Chatima Tova, and may we all be sealed for blessing. Amen. And now we have a song for you, if I can find it. Adonai, our rock and redeemer, your love is deeper than the sea. Your mercy is unfailing. Your arms a fortress for the weak. Let faith arise. Let faith arise. I lift my hands to believe again. You are my refuge. You are my strength. As I pour out my heart, these things I remember. You are faithful, God, forever. Be still, there is a river that flows between you and me, a fountain for the thirsty. Your grace, it washes over me. Let faith arise. Let faith arise. I lift my hands to believe again. You are my refuge. You are my strength. As I pour out my heart, these things I remember. You are faithful. to believe again. You are my refuge, you are my strength. As I pour out my heart, these things I remember. You are faithful, God, forever. We lift our hands to believe again. You are our refuge, you are our strength. As we pour out our hearts, these things we remember. You are faithful, God, forever. Let faith arise. Let faith arise.